Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. Today, we will be reviewing
The Shadows of Brimstone Frontier Town. I got this a couple years ago, and I've had it in my collection for quite a while. Actually,
I was terrified of it.
Yeah. When I first read through the rule book and the missions and what have you, I was a little disturbed by the frequency and number of travel hazards. And
But then we went to the Blasted Wastes.
then we went to the Blasted Wastes.
You know, like a lot of the reviews this month, and by a lot I mean the last one we did, we have to mention the thing we did before.
Yes. This at first it was really daunting. It looked really difficult, and our characters were brand new, greenhorns, and we didn't really, want to throw more travel hazards into the mix because some of the travel hazards in the original book are downright deadly. But after rereading this and realizing that our characters are now cruising into like 5th, 6th level, something like that.
One's at 6th, the rest are at 4th and 5th.
Yeah. We realized, that in addition to having a cowboy in the party, which is a huge help when it comes to travel hazards, and we recently just blew all of our money on rust cycles and a scrap wagon in the Blasted Wastes. Not really sure how we get those vehicles back and forth through the mines and through the portals, but
I don't think we. Oh yeah, through the.
it's kind of confusing on how that happens. It makes me think.
Actually, no. I think it probably isn't that hard to get it through the canyon.
But to get it through the portals in like the mines and stuff, kind of reminds me of.
Well, yeah, but we probably exited through the canyons.
Right, but remember how in No Man's Sky, whenever you go through a portal, your ship is right there waiting for you.
I know that.
It reminds me of that. But
we should get to the actual.
Yeah, let's pop this out. One of the things we like about this the most, believe it or not, is this new edition, which is this really, really cool Frontier Town board game style map.
Because it's a board.
It's nice. It's solid. It's better than half the board games I've ever come across.
It's actually probably the best quality thing in this entire box.
Well, everything else is just cardboard, and we'll get to that. But the only problem I have with the map is the buildings seem a little small. This shop or whatever building it is, it's roughly
look
like.
Look at these tables and look at these chairs.
Yeah, they're just. I think the scales.
This in, now. Look at this. Look at that.
It's a little off scale.
A little off scale.
Okay, it would be fine for 25 millimeter scale.
Maybe even epic.
6 mil scale, yeah, they'd be in the land of the giants. Otherwise, this is really a neat addition. Unfortunately, like I said, the scale's a little off, but we had a lot of fun here.
I don't think the scales of the rooms are off. I think it's more the scales of the furniture and stuff.
Yeah, well, because if each square is like 6 feet, you're looking at 25 feet across.
This guy's like 7 feet tall.
Something like that, yeah.
No, I think they're 5 feet.
The new variation on the different types of towns were pretty interesting. Unfortunately, when we ran through this, we got a normal town. But the river town, the haunted town, the plague town, rail town, outlaw town, all of these sound like a lot of fun to dress up your average visit going to town. And this is a lot more than just, going to, do your couple of days and then on to the next mission. Because in the rulebook there are 6 stellar adventure missions. We actually ran through 2 of them. The little guy went to the, which one, what was it called? The solo one? Let's just put it right there. High Noon Duel Solo. His gunslinger at 6th level faced off against a banded monstrosity with a whopping.
By monstrosity, you mean one of the easiest enemies I've ever fought.
Even with 48 health, the little guy, you have what, like 11, 15 health on your own? Was able to take this guy out in 3-4 rounds of combat.
Probably because I had this thing from the Swamps of Death that made it so I crit on a 4 and 5.
Oh, okay.
And one of my guns also had a D8.
Mm-hmm.
So for that one, it was almost always a crit.
Yeah, so he even at brutal, difficulty, he made quick work of that desperado. And then we went and did the hanging high mission, which was also a lot of fun. It wasn't too difficult, and instead of just running in guns blazing, we snuck in amongst the crowd.
Snuck in, you mean?
Just waltzed in.
Yeah, we walked in and they immediately started shooting at us because that's what you do when you see some famous people or some. I assume because when I went by a rail, people recognized me, so I assumed that we're somewhat famous.
Right.
So you see these four famous people going, and you're immediately like, oh, they're here to break this guy out because that makes so much sense.
Right. But we had a lot of fun with the missions. We're going to play a couple more, maybe this month. Well, probably this month because it's a lot of fun, and it seems like a ways to just blaze through this expansion and move on to the next one for next month. So toward the end of this month, we'll play a couple more missions. It was really a lot of fun. It wasn't anywhere near as dangerous as we thought. We didn't take advantage of the Devil's Wheel card game, which were definitely...
Or any other things because we didn't get that many special things.
Yeah, we didn't have any, events that were, too dangerous. Most of us rolled right there in the middle with which, is a nothing happens, event. But all in all, we had a really good time. It's a really nice set. The addition of the Stagecoach and the Gallows, which I actually purchased a MDF Gallows kit. I would really love to find a Stagecoach model. If any of you guys out there know where I could find one.
You were going to make one, but no.
Yeah, it's just, even looking at the Cowboy and Indian plastic Army Men sets, they're just too big. If you guys know where I could find one in 30 mil scale.
For this game.
Yeah, or 1/48 scale, please let me know in the comment section. I've been looking for a couple of months and no luck. Even though we just picked up a scrap wagon, which I have no idea what that looks like, I'd rather actually, represent it with a Stagecoach model. It's just, a Western thing that I've always wanted. The tokens, the cards, the new side bag tokens, all pretty handy. Really like the cigar and the spice. That hatchet,
By the way, is this? Should we go over anything else? Or
the only thing we didn't like about it, the cards were fine. The additional gear, all that stuff.
Something related to the gear is that in the the Outlaw Town, and even actually there's the Thieves' Den or whatever it's called.
Right, the Smuggler's Den.
The Smuggler's Den. It has a certain type of bullet that, when combined with a certain character going down a certain skill tree, makes it so he literally never misses.
Right. His character's got the hit on a 2+, and then when you add the bullets he's talking about, you could just pick the one as the one.
It's always one. It's
always one. Okay.
Yeah.
So therefore, he literally can't miss anymore, and he's armed with a void pistol and a executioner's gun or something like that,
or something else.
So he's getting 5 shots a turn, never missing. Holding on to some grit so he can re-roll some of those damage rolls. Gunslingers are the way to go. Obviously, this is a cowboy game, and who wouldn't want to run a gunslinger? But have one in your party, and he's just going to soar past everybody else when it comes to the XP. Now, on to the bad and ugly aspect of this particular expansion.
Which one would we like to call it?
Well,
both, actually.
Yeah. Just bring them onto the board. These guys.
Not good. No, we don't like.
One, I wish they would have given us the possibility of optional poses, but having every one of them in the exact same pose is just kind of weak sauce. The fact that I'm pretty sure these were resin figures, which I don't like any of the resin figures they've ever made.
They're also oversized.
They're oversized. The texture's bad, and the actual detail is really minimal in the way of depth and height. Things like this rope and the belt are so thin and so flimsy that a single coat of paint can completely obscure them, just like the strap for the holster. These miniatures, from a distance, they're all right. And if you're, an exceptional painter, you could probably really make them stand out. But for your average Joe, who, you know, is just getting a start with painting. They're really not as fun to paint as so many of the other things they put out. They put out some of the nicest miniatures,
Which
you
is
know, out of a board game that you can ask for.
which is
But
one of the two main reasons why I didn't paint them.
right.
The first was because I started painting them before I started actually painting.
Yeah, I really started painting these quite a long time ago, just so we had these miniatures. I forget what we were using them for, or maybe we even did we throw the bandits in?
No, what we were using them for was the dock.
Oh yeah, we were using them for some player characters that we hadn't assembled, because those original miniatures were like I said, really flimsy, really thin scale,
And they melted.
and they melted in my hands when I was just holding them, trying to put them together. I think we went over that before, but and, you know, that's really the only bad thing about it. And with Flying Frog's recent re-sculpting and reprinting and tooling a lot of the old miniatures, this would be a classic thing to go back over and redo, just so we could get some, just some different poses. Not a lot, but just a little bit would be, I'd like to see it. As it is, we've recently swapped out almost all of our character miniatures for Reaper old school metal miniatures, so we can get some really nice detail, really nice poses, and a lot more character for our characters.
Yeah,
And we'll probably show those off at the end of the month.
Perhaps.
If they're done painted. We've been working on so many different things that we're not getting behind, but we're trying to pace ourselves, unlike previous months where we're struggling at the end of the month to get everything ready for the show-off show. So from all of us here at Shadow and Sun, hope you guys check this expansion out. It was a lot more fun than I anticipated, and we will definitely be revisiting it possibly a lot more often than any of the other expansions, just because...
Actually, the main reason, once you start using it, you kind of have to go to it after every mission.
Right, that we did miss on that. It does replace the travel hazards and the going to town.
The entire part of going to town is completely replaced by this.
And it's actually expanded quite a bit, and there's a lot more to it. So save yourself some time. Normally, at the end of a gaming session, we're pooped. It's midnight, and we just want to pack it in. But now we're gonna have to make a little bit more time to do this, or maybe even start the game out in town, do our stuff, get our gear, sell our dark stone, do all those things, and then on to the mission at hand.
Yeah.
Anything else, bud?
No, not really. I think that's it for today.
Yep, we will see you guys Thursday for a brand new craft video. Keep it in line with the Western theme. Have your sculpting tools handy and your clay of choice, and we will see you guys then. Say goodnight.
Correct.
Till then, happy trails.
Good night.